Good morning, Deed Grabbers. It's Q&A day on Goat Talk. So if you have questions about subject to or creative finance, bring them. If you know somebody that might have questions, tell them to join us on here and we'll get them all answered. It's an abbreviated version of Goat Talk today. So come on in with your questions. We'll be back in 45 seconds. Good morning, Deed Grabbers. It's Tuesday. Time for Goat Talk. Good to see you guys here. Say good morning to us. Let us know where you are and who you are so we can talk to you. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love to ask you to subscribe to our channel. You know, the statistics in the back of that thing tell us that about 75% of the people that watch these Goat Talk episodes and videos are not subscribed. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's absolutely free. And we put out some kind of video just about every day. So get up there and subscribe. My producer eventually will put up the link to that, sub2tv.com. She's off camera today. She's supposed to be working the controls, but let me see if I can find this thing.
I got it.
She's going to do that. Sub2tv.com. Subscribe to the channel. Don't hire her as your producer for your podcast. It will not work out well for you. Also, once you guys are subscribed, if you're new to creative finance, if you want to learn more about it, but you don't want to spend $1 million on coaching, you can check us out at $7 coaching for the price of a Starbucks latte. And I know how much those things are because I stop by there pretty frequently. We'll teach you how to do that. I'm telling you, that Starbucks is a thing, isn't it?
Remember when you didn't used to drink coffee?
I know. I didn't used to drink coffee. She's totally converted me. Just an FYI on that thing. If you guys use that Starbucks app, I read something recently that said they're one of the largest banks in the world. Now, at any given time, they have a couple of, $1 billion on
Yes.
Starbucks app sitting in there that they can use that money anytime, anything. It's really pretty interesting. But anyway, check us out at $7 coaching. And wholesalers, if we have any wholesalers on here, God, we love you. And you want to learn about creative finance. You want to stop doing transactional real estate and start getting some cash flow. We'll teach you how to do it and pay you for your leads at deadleadsplease.com. If you're a wholesaler, check it out, fill it out. Come over there, fill out a short form. We will harass you until the end of time for your leads. So come over there and check that out. We've also got a freebie for you today, our free creative finance guide. And we've got a link there. There you go. Sub2deals.com/CFG. That's about a 45-page little book there. That's a product, actually. That's absolutely free. It'll teach you 4 different ways to buy houses creatively. So let's see who we've got in here this morning. Just see. Okay, looks like Facebook user Michael Blythe. We know you, Michael. Michael's a Max student. Amanda's a Max student. Good morning from Salt Lake City, Cincinnati. Good morning, Brad. Good to see you. There's Phil Smith. Guys, we're getting ready for the Mastermind in 2 weeks. Man, we'll be on the road in 2 weeks. I guess we're driving. We'll be heading over to Gatlinburg. We're going to spend 4 days with these guys talking about business and having a great old time. So if you're not in Sub2 Max, check it out, sub2max.com. Love to have you join. You can't come to this one. It's sold out. You can't come to this mastermind, but we do 3 a year. So we'll do one in January and you can come join us over there. If you guys have questions, let's have them. Look who else we got in here.
Brad.
Yeah, we got Ryan here. Terrell, good to see you. Let's see, man. Everybody's in here with the shared. We're not set up to do a giveaway. We're doing an abbreviated version this morning. So I don't think we're going to spin the wheel this morning. I don't know. Sure. Why not? I have to set it up for a second. But okay, we'll get to it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set the wheel up here real quick. If y'all have any questions, drop those things in here because we're going to be getting out of here a little bit early today. MBKT Enterprises.
That's Tracy.
Is that Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay. Tracy, put your name on here so
Yeah.
we'll know who you are. I'm going to try to set this wheel up so we can spin this thing for you guys here in a few minutes and give y'all a chance to put some questions in. There it is right there. Okay, we got to set the big wheel up, give away some coffee cups and
some goodies.
Notebooks. Let's see. There it is. Hashtag shared. Okay, you guys can share. We're collecting comments. We've only got 2 people so far that have shared, so you guys do it. If y'all have some questions, let us have them. We're only going to be on here today probably for about 30 minutes. We just got a couple of things to talk about. New house we closed on Friday.
Yeah.
Terrell's got a question. You want to throw that up here? And then we may go into some of the questions. We've been sent some emails. Yeah, it's in the comments. How do you follow up on your vacant homes when door knocking from sheriff's sale? I use batch skip tracing to try and track down contact for vacant owners, but it's hard to get in touch. Terrell, I'll tell you, I've never used batch. We're fans of PropStream. That's what we use. And I've heard a lot of and you'll hear it on all of them, man. I'm not going to say you don't hear the same thing on PropStream. That they fail a lot of the time and this and that. But I'll tell you, when you're looking for something like a vacant house, you need a deep skip trace, and that's going to be I think it's TLO. I think some of those guys are hard to get. We use a service called IDI. It's a little easier to get. They will ask you some questions. You will have to qualify, but it's a per use service. It cost us, I think it went up. It's $1.25 to do a deep search on somebody, and I'll tell you, it'll tell you everything right down to their hat size. It'll give you their last 20 phone numbers. It'll give you relatives' names, and you can also do searches on those guys, neighbors, their last several addresses, IP addresses, email addresses, $1.25. And that's what you want when you're out there, when you're looking at people that are in foreclosure, that are going to the auction in a few weeks. You don't want to count on PropStream or batch leads to give you information. Something that's going to let you go knock on the door of their daughter or their son or their parents. That's what you want. You want to call all those, but you want to be like a bill collector. In fact, that's what bill collectors use. They use these services. So that's what you want to do. You want to get a hookup with them. IDI, you can do a Google search for those guys and find them and give them a call and try to get signed up. They've been great for us. They did a presentation for us in Sub 2 Max showing all of our students how to use the product. And
it's IDI Core.
IDI Core, is that what it is? See if you can find the Google, just their URL. And we use a login URL, but Jodi's going to try to look that up and find that. I'd pay $1.25 my search value. Absolutely. 30 to 45 a month, batch 15 lead. Listen, I'm telling you, and we've used PropStream in the past to do skip searches and things like that. The information you get, you can't compare it. This is private investigator stuff. It's bill collector stuff. It's high end. It's a lot of information. Phil asked, have you finalized the location of the next mastermind? Yes, we have, Phil. And we're going to share that with you guys on day 1 in Gatlinburg. The sign up page is ready. We've just gone all in on this thing, and we have arrived in the 21st century. We have.
There's a sign up page.
we we're getting
Page
rid
portal.
of the stone tablets and the chisels, and we're all in on this
Mail me
thing now.
some cash. Yeah.
Right. So we're all set up. You can click a button, sign up, and be registered for the next one. It's going to be really simple. So, got free and clear house. What paperwork do I use? Well, how are you buying it, Michael? That's going to matter. I had a conversation this morning. Ryan and I were on the phone this morning talking about buying a house and the different ways you can do this thing. So it depends on what the seller wants. Does the seller want cash? Well, that's going to mean a discounted price, and it's going to mean a sales agreement, and that's going to be about it. If they're going to sell or finance it to you, you're going to give them a mortgage and a note, and if they're going to lease option it to you, then that's going to be a lease and option and a couple other pieces of paperwork. So what does the seller want? Have you talked to them? Oh, let's see. Where's the best place to get a sub-2 contract for Florida? Also POA and many others. I'll tell you, Christine, you can buy any course out there. And if there's a guru that does all of their business in Florida and their forms are written for Florida because that's their thing, that's where you want to go. The best place is probably going to be start with your local RIA. If you've got a RIA there, if you know other investors who are doing sub-2 in Florida, talk to them. But make sure whatever they have has already been approved by a Florida attorney. You guys have to be really careful in the contracts that you use. No out-of-the-box thing is probably going to be 100%. Again, unless, let's just say you've got a local guy that teaches locally. He only does business in Florida. He's an expert. He's been doing it for a really long time. You can probably get his material and use it in Florida because that's what he does. That's what he knows. Otherwise, always have them looked at by an attorney. And with so many states now having foreclosure protection laws, and you need to know if your state's one of those, that the wording is going to be a little bit different. So go with somebody local or talk to a real estate attorney there who can put together, take your template documents that you got from your teacher and take those to your local attorney. Say, can I use this? Is this okay? Do I need to add something? And they should be able to help you there. Land contract. Well, okay, so the guy's going to sell or finance it to you. Well, you're going to start out with a purchase and sale agreement. If he's going to sell it to you, the true owner finance, you're going to get a deed. Write up your contract, Michael, with all of the terms that you and your seller agreed to, just a standard purchase agreement, and take that to your title company. If your seller is doing a true seller finance to you, they're going to be the bank. Your title company should be able to take care of all of those things for you. Make sure you're on the call tonight, and we'll talk about that some more in detail. But really, that's a pretty straightforward transaction. Okay. So, John, good to see you, John. Can you go over the types of things you look for when deciding which foreclosure properties you want to go after? Some of the properties I've seen are a little on the higher end. John, we in general, doesn't matter what type of house we're looking at, if it's one in foreclosure, if it's a call from a radio ad, if it's a call from a bandit sign, if it's a realtor, we're targeting it on the MLS, we're looking ideally for a median priced home, plus or minus 10% in our area. So, for example, if the median priced home where you are is $300,000, you're going to be looking for something in the $270,000 to $330,000 range. And the reason we do that on our model is because we're looking for buyers. And the largest pool of buyers, first-time home buyers, people that can afford your house, are going to fit in that model. That's the place you want to be. Now, if you want to rent, maybe you're a Section 8 guy. You want to rent, you want Section 8, you want the guaranteed income every month. You might look at a slightly lower end house. They're more affordable. The rent to payment ratio is going to be better. It just really depends on what you want to do. If you're following what we do, you're following the 12-house blueprint, you're looking for a median priced home. That's what you want. So can you buy a little bit higher end? You can, but know that especially in our current economy, like here, if you get above about 450, you're really going to start seeing higher days on market. The interest rates and everything else really slow your buyers down. So you want to be in the biggest pool of buyers possible, people that can afford the house. You want to stay in median price. That's where you want to be. Okay, Tyrell, how do you feel about transaction coordinators? Some will do all your paperwork, whatever state you're in, costing $500 to $1,000, the higher cost stuff being for FHA and VA. I have never used a transaction coordinator because, transaction coordinators have just really started being a thing in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, I think agents used them before that, and I think that's where the term came from, as somebody to handle all the paperwork, make sure all the check boxes got hit. But in creative finance, transaction coordinators really haven't been a thing until the last couple of years. We do all of our own stuff because we don't buy but 1 or 2 houses a month. That's it. It's really easy. Nobody minds your business like you do. Now, if you want to be a machine, Terrell, and you want to buy 10 or 15 or 20 houses a month, you might want to hire a transaction coordinator. If I had somebody that I absolutely trusted and I needed them, paying $500 to $1,000 to get all of that stuff done is not a big deal. I think that's probably a pretty fair price actually for it. But I'm telling you, if it were me, the checking up I would have to do on the transaction coordinator to make sure they didn't screw anything up. Yeah, and I know why you hear about that one all the time, but anybody that's going to charge me, and I think at one time they had a cost, and I don't remember, a couple $100 just to talk to me about it. Most people will have a consultation with you to do work for you. Most attorneys will even give you a free consultation. I'm not going to pay somebody, $200 or $300 to teach them how I want them to do work for me. So that was a little bit of a turnoff for me. There are a lot of transaction coordinators out there, independent people. Anytime doing paperwork is mentioned in any of these groups, 1,000 people jump in there and say, hey, call me. We do them. I prefer to do my own. It's easy for me to do. I make sure I go over them. I make sure all the details are just right. But if you're high volume, absolutely, you probably want to hire somebody. Well, our plan is actually just to hire somebody local that works for us in-house to do several things for us. And we haven't got there yet, but we probably will, I'm guessing, by the end of this year, the first of next year. So is it needed? It's kind of like a servicer to me. If that's what you feel like you need for your business, do it. A loan servicer. We've never used one, and I just don't see the need for it personally, but that's just me. When a foreclosure is sent to an attorney, can the attorney block a third party that the owner wants to include on a call to try and handle the arrears? I've never experienced that, Tracy. Can they? Well, gee, politicians today will do something. We had one recently that did it. I was reading about it yesterday. A governor, I think in New Mexico, banned open or concealed carry for 30 days. Wow. Okay. So she's overriding, and no matter what your politics are, that's not what I'm trying to get into. My point on this is that she that's a Second Amendment right in the state that she governs, but she just took it on her own to ban it for 30 days for some reason. And so eventually, of course, that'll be, a court will say you can't do that. But in the meantime, it's a law. So can they do it legally? Well, I don't know that they can do that. If Susan's in foreclosure and she wants me to assist her because she doesn't have the confidence to talk to an attorney, she doesn't know what to say. It's just like your wife taking her husband to buy a car. A lot of women do that. Well, I need to take this man to buy this car so they won't feel like they can get over on me, whether they're trying to do that or not. You should be able to call and help out Susan with that. So I'm not aware. I've never experienced that. I don't know why they would want to. The foreclosure attorney is just pushing the paperwork for the lender. I don't know why they would really have a dog in the hunt, other than just getting it done. So that doesn't make sense to me. I'm guessing you've experienced this. But I don't know why. Did they give you a reason why? That if you have a power of attorney from someone, you should be able to get that done.
Wait, let's finish this one here. She's
Okay. I thought that didn't seem right. The person may have fallen on hard times and need help, but the foreclosure attorney was rude. Listen, those guys, some of them are just that way. These people process. Well, I don't know now. Foreclosures are a little slower, but normally they're processing. What did that girl tell us that time? That foreclosure mill here that does them for several states. She said, "Listen," she said, "we have 6,000 foreclosures a month come through here, or whatever it was." She said, if you don't have this number or that number, we can't help you. They said at this stage of the foreclosure, I don't understand what that means. Maybe their objective is to keep it in foreclosure long enough to earn more fees. Who knows? Most of you guys know what I think about lawyers, lawyers and real estate agents. Yeah, gosh, I don't even want to get started on that, but I would probably try to call back and talk to somebody else. Most of those, the people that do a lot of foreclosures like that, they're doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. There's a dozen people on each foreclosure team. They actually call them teams in there. John, I have a call with Bill this afternoon to discuss operating agreements and business setup. Any tips for questions to ask or things to discuss while on the phone? Well, he should be able to tell you. I mean, I think the purpose of the call is for him to tell you what you need in there. The main thing when you're consulting with somebody on what you should have in an operating agreement is what is your intended business practice. Okay. And so your operating agreement should reflect that, what your intent is and what you plan to do in your business. It should be worded accordingly. So that's going to be really important. As far as your business structure, tax implications, things like that. Bill's a lot more qualified to answer those questions than I am. Remember, I have a 9th grade education. I'm certainly not an accountant or a CPA. Okay. I know a little bit about real estate, but operating agreements and business setups, what's best for you with your family situation and everything else. I don't know what your intent is. Bill's going to be best for that. Okay. So do we have anything else in here?
No.
Tax strategy.
No other questions right now.
Huh?
Not really.
Not really any other questions? Okay. We don't have any other questions. I want you guys to get the most out of this we can. We want to talk about a couple of things, but we have had a bunch of questions this morning. We bought a house Friday from a lady who had and this is a really good example of how you'll hear people say, who in the heck will do this? Who will deed you a house? They have to be the most desperate people in the world. This lady wasn't. I mean, she had a situation, but she was handling it from here. She was having to. What is it? Mm-hmm. She had to drive to Little Rock to go to the hospital. She has a medical situation, and she needs to be as close to the hospital as she can.
I just want to interrupt with this important question.
Important question. Yeah. Okay. How do you get so cool? Man, I've been working on it for a long time. I don't know.
Wants to know too.
Yeah. Okay. You would know more about that, Ryan, than I do. You're young and good looking and everything.
A lot of it has to do with me.
Yeah, that's probably right. I really upped my cool game when I married Jodi. For sure. Man, I lost. Okay, I was talking about our seller. Yeah. So she needs to be close to the hospital. She's 2 hours from the hospital now, and she wanted to be closer. It would make her life easier. So she decided, she and her husband, that they wanted to sell this house and move and buy a new house in Little Rock. And so she heard our radio ad and she called us up, and we told her, yeah, we could buy her house. And man, she was on top of stuff. I mean, we're always pretty much going to go after the deed. And this, she owed $153,000 on this house. And when we were asking her, well, because I don't like to negotiate a whole bunch. I like to find out what sellers want and try to give them that, and then that way they don't have much to object about. she was really stuck on it. It wasn't a price. And if she didn't say I want $183,000 for my house, she said I want $30,000. I want $30,000. That was her number. I don't really know why. She never told me, but she was really stuck on that. And so
She asked several times.
am
I'm going to get 30, right?
am I still going to get my $30,000? Of course, which each time we said yes. Now she owed 153, and when I'm talking to her and she owes 153 and she wants 30, and I'm looking at it, and the house, best I can calculate, there's a couple of strange things on this. This house has an extra lot, and it also has a 24 by 30 wired workshop. I mean, this is built. This is in a shed. This could be a house. I mean, if you put a bathroom and a kitchen in it, you could live in it. So it's got that as an add-on. Now the value of the house is around 300, I think. Maybe a little short of that. But as best I can tell, I think the house, the property is probably worth somewhere between 3 and 330. That would be my best guess, with the shop and with the land and everything. So and we went out and looked at it, and these people had dogs.
Boy, did they.
Boy, did they. They had like 4 100-pound dogs. And from the looks of things, they spent a lot of time on the inside. So this is one of those things. I could show you a picture of the inside of this house, but without like a scratch and sniff feature, you wouldn't really appreciate it. The smell of money was, yeah. Okay. You guys get where I'm going with this thing. So, but otherwise the house was in really good shape. It had a new roof, a new roof from March of last year, new central heat and air from a little bit before that.
It's just dirtied up from the dogs.
It's just dirtied up from the dogs. And so we figure we'll probably, because we're going to do a couple of extra things, we're going to spend 25, maybe 30 on this house if we go all out. So we'll be all into this house for about 210, 212, somewhere in there. So I think we'll do okay. That's the plan with it anyway. But these people have an 800 credit score. They pay their bills. They, other than wanting to get closer to the hospital. And I mean, she really checked us out. She wanted to see our website. She looked at all of our testimonials. Every testimonial. She was very familiar with that. She even asked about, on our website, we've got myself, and Jodi and our VA, because he does a lot of work for us. And she even asked about that. Is that little guy that works for you that's on your website? Oh, yeah. She's very familiar with us. But she signed over a deed. We wrote her a check, and they're on their way. So we're starting on that this week. Right. We gave her a form that explained what was happening. Listen, guys, and that's another thing. Can your seller buy a new house? They bought their new home from the same lender that has this one financed. So before we closed. So that was all taken care of and situated, and they got moved. So it all worked out real well for them. They're on to something new, and I think we'll do okay with this house too. We have any other questions before we get out of here? How many channels are you on your radio ads? I think you have a podcast on this. Yes, Tyrell, we're on 3 radio stations in the Bentonville market. 3 radio stations. They're not huge radio stations either. A couple of them are really pretty small, but the smallest radio station as far as reach and the least expensive that we're on produced our first deal, actually, and gets as many calls as the rest of them. So, I think people are used to hearing us now. We hear that now. Everybody that calls now from radio says, I've been hearing your ads for months and months. I mean, so you're starting to get some real credibility out there, but we're on 3 stations. So. All righty. So if we don't have any other questions, I think we've been here about 30 minutes now. We're going to get out of here. We've got this new house. We're meeting people out there, get that started. We're starting the trash out here in a day or so. We're meeting a contractor out there to do our work for us.
Our first rehab here.
Yeah, our first rehab here. God, pray for us. At least it's not a bad one. No. It's just a cosmetic thing. So, but rehabs, man, they're okay. Last chance to hashtag share our live. And we're going to spin this wheel in just a second here.
Make sure, just
spin the wheel.
Give them a second here, but make sure you have the hashtag.
Make
Share.
sure you have the
If you
hashtag.
just say share
Okay.
it won't count. It won't
All
pick
right.
up.
Did we have any other questions before we spin this wheel?
I don't believe so.
And let's see.
Everybody knows everything.
Everybody knows everything. All right. All right. That's great. Listen, Facebook user, it's not going to help you to do the shared if we don't see your name. I don't think. Now, it may show up in this wheel.
I
don't
think
know.
they just fixed it.
Did they fix
Yep.
it? Okay. All right. So make sure you do that. All right. So let's see. I'm going to answer one more question here. I get some of these questions. I'm going to answer one of them here. This question used to be really popular a while back, but now it's making some kind of rebirth here. You see it in these groups. Where can I get sub-2 insurance that will cover me in the case of a due on sale issue? You can't, because it does not exist. Let me tell you guys something. If anybody tries to sell you a policy or some type of insurance that's going to take care of you if you have a due on sale issue, they're just taking your money. Okay, this thing doesn't exist. The due on sale clause is real. Okay, it is in pretty much every mortgage under the sun that's out there right now. Okay, it's there. If the seller, if the person that took out that loan on that property transfers, and read this thing very carefully because there's all kinds of BS out there about this. If they transfer any interest in this property, that means if you put it in a trust and they transfer 1%, that is a transfer of interest. The bank has the right to call the loan due. Putting it in a trust doesn't stop the due on sale. Okay. It makes it a little less likely that you'll have an issue, is what it does. There is not such a thing as due on sale insurance. The due on sale is not a huge issue. Okay. Be aware that it's possible. Have plan B, C, and D in place, whether that's your uncle's trust fund that's going to bail you out. You have a credit partner. If your credit stinks, you have the ability to refinance if you need to, or you have enough equity to sell that property very quickly if that's what you need to do. Have a plan, but I'm telling you, there is no due on sale insurance. It just does not exist. I've seen that so much lately. Oh my gosh. That is just crazy. It just doesn't. I'll tell you, your best insurance against a due on sale issue is to use a trust to hold title to your property, make your payments on time, and handle your insurance properly. Okay. That's your best insurance. All right. We're going to spin this wheel and give away some stuff. Last chance. Let's see. We're going to show everybody who the winner is. What?
Tracy.
If you want to make some money, Tracy, because there's plenty of suckers out there that think it's real and want to buy it. All right. Here we go. Who's the winner today? Michael. Michael's our winner. So, Michael,
Here's how we're doing this.
Message, yeah. Send your name and address to office@sub2deals.com and we'll get that out to you.
We don't have to wonder
Yeah,
where it goes.
that's right. That's where it goes. So do that, Michael's glad to have you on here today. We got another question from Vincent, it looks like. So take this thing off. How do you do that? You know, we're cool, Ryan, but we're not very high tech. Okay, Vincent had a question. Let's see. Facebook user, I don't see. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, you can't be Facebook user. Regarding putting in trust, when you go to sell it on a wrap or seller financing, you have to take it out of the trust, transfer it to a new buyer. Vincent, aren't you in Texas? I'm going to tell you something. If you sell it, you don't have to take it out of a trust. If you're selling it on a wrap, yes, it's going to go into the name. Now, I'll tell you what I would do if I were in Texas. Now, I don't buy houses in Texas because they've gotten so crazy with stuff out there. If I were in Texas, what I would do I would sell the beneficial interest of the trust to my buyer, and that's how I would sell them the property. And that's a long story for another day, but that's how I would do it. I would do that. That's how I would sell or finance that deal. I would sell the beneficial interest. And I had a friend that was in Texas that used to do a bunch of that stuff. And she had this whole system that she did. She would sell the beneficial interest and secure that with a UCC filing. And then if she had to foreclose on the property, she would foreclose on the beneficial interest with that UCC filing. But like I said, that's a long topic. You could talk for an hour or more about that. That's what I would do. So, okay. That's what I would do on that. All right, guys, that is it for us today. We're going to get out of here. We appreciate all y'all showing up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you do that. Sub2tv.com. And wholesalers, if you're out there and you don't know what to do with something creative, we would love to buy your leads and show you how we convert those things. So go to deadleadsplease.com and sign up and send us some deals. Let's work together. So, all right. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. So until then, get out there. You going to run my video for me?
Oh, I gotta switch pages here.
Oh, my producer. Don't hire her as a podcast producer. Graphics, she's great. She's a great wife.
It's the ADD.
Don't hire her as a podcast producer. Just don't do it. All right, guys, get out there and talk to some sellers and buy some houses.